I was invited very kindly by the World Congress of Faiths in the person of Brian to give the Young Husband lecture this year, and I talked about the problem of the one and the many. And my thrust was that although often when one philosophizes, one sees unification, simplicity, stasis and eternity as the sort of trumping sort of elements in reality, that most of the business of the cosmos seems to me to be about differentiation, multiplicity, superabundance, the forming of the many. And that both are needed, and that one takes part in the other. And so coming to the question about the individual versus the sort of, as it were, one of the only ways I can understand creation is because I strongly intuit that there is a divine something. Why would that divine something go to the trouble of creating this phenomenal world, a phenomenological world, if it already knew and had everything? And it must be an outwelling or overflowing of some force for creation that desires the unfolding of this somewhat sterile one into all the manifoldness of things. Now, if it's that, it's not going to turn its back on the individuation that occurs. It's not that the individuation is an unfortunate. I mean, this is the gripe I had with a probably completely misunderstood form of Buddhism, was the idea that somehow the self was a problem, a sort of stumbling block. And of course, certain kinds of conception of the self clearly are. But some sense of the self it seems to me, important. It seems to be what we're here to do is to grow that selfhood, fulfill it, which we do better or worse. But that at the end of that process, although we die, that's something or other that is what we have done with our bit of the cosmos is taken back into the whole. So while we're here, the bit of the conscious cosmos, because I believe consciousness is the sort of basic given of the universe, then the bit that we occupy is in relation with that whole. It's not completely separate from it. It's rather like a pseudopod on the membrane of an amoeba. It's a sort of outpouching of the flow of consciousness, in which it self-reflects when you're in the middle of it. That is your mortal reflection. People can transcend that to see that they're connected to something beyond, from which we're never completely severed.